Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, born Chandra Mohan Jain on December 11, 1931, was an Indian mystic and teacher whose followers, known as neo-sannyasins. His ideology can be interpreted as a combination of both modern Western psychology and philosophy, with an eclectic mix of the Western spirituality and also Asian spirituality. One of the key practices by Rajneesh was dynamic meditation. This took place in 5 different steps, and I'm going to go through those. So the first step is to breathe erratically for 10 minutes. The second part of this is to release all emotions from your body in whichever form you see fit. Most of the examples I've seen were of people yelling or people crying. The next part is you raise your arms up in the air, shouting a mantra, going like ho 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 as you're jumping up and down and hitting the ground. After this, you stop wherever you are and you kind of observe the world around you and you kind of take it all in. And then finally, you're to celebrate, express yourself, and to carry that feeling with you for the rest of the day. The idea of a sannyasin comes from Hinduism and is used to describe someone who has become enlightened enough to let go of earthly possessions and pleasures. Neo-sannyasinism, on the other hand, preaches that in order to reach the same enlightenment, one must stay connected to the world at large around them. In the grand narrative of New Age spirituality, we can look at theosophy and its concept of a world teacher as a parable to Rajneesh himself, as a blend of both Eastern and Western philosophy. This world teacher was said to move the human race into a new age of enlightenment, which is part of what Rajneesh was teaching. The Rajneesh movement was also part of the counterculture in the United States, which started around the 1960s, with a continued emphasis on the support of communal living and free love. Rajneesh's public life began in 1970 when he was a traveling speaker and spiritual guide in India who would host meetings where dynamic meditation was performed. At this time, he was also an outspoken critic of traditional religious doctrine, favoring a more eclectic and seemingly free approach to spirituality. In 1981, a move was made among Rajneesh and his advisors to find a suitable location for their new spiritual center, which was functionally a commune in which Rajneesh's followers would live and practice his spirituality. The inner workings and stories of the town, which became known as Rajneeshpuram, located in a small rural town in Oregon called Antelope, became infamous and deeply contested with a 6-part Netflix documentary released in 2018 covering the topic. Throughout the existence of Rajneeshpuram, there were many instances of illegal activities and the only instance of bioterrorism used in the United States. During this period, Rajneesh himself became very wealthy through the growth of his spiritual centers around the world, as well as other commercial enterprises. As a culmination of the friction and lawsuits between those representing Rajneesh and the citizens of Antelope, some of Rajneesh's top advisors, including Ma Anand Sheela, attempted to poison the surfaces of many restaurants around the Wasco County area in an attempt to sway the upcoming county elections towards their candidates. Another instance of illegal activities was at one point they, as a seemingly altruistic endeavor, attempted to move many homeless people from big cities around the United States into Rajneeshpuram, when this was really an attempt to gain more voters in their favor so that they could swing another state election towards their cause. 1985, it marked the fall of Rajneeshpuram, with both Ma Anand Sheela and Rajneesh both being arrested on charges of immigration fraud, embezzlement, and attempted murder. Although Rajneeshpuram is now a Christian summer camp, and Rajneesh, later known as Osho, had died, his legacy and teaching still exists, with some of those who lived in Rajneeshpuram and some newcomers still following the teachings of neo-sannyasinism. To this day, there's still quite a bit of contention over whether Rajneesh was completely in the know about many of the occurrences in Rajneeshpuram with many people citing Sheila as the person who was behind much of it. Shown is a video of neo-sannyasins who are all doing dynamic meditation, which is what I found on YouTube. And there can also be seen the red robes, which they are known for wearing, especially in pictures of Rajneesh Param.